Welcome to redding.com. In this class, I am going to discuss about the basics of compiler. If you want to study the new concepts, we know the terms and terminologies of that concept. So first we know the different terms involved in this compiler. First one is translator and definition of compiler, interpreter, assembler and different phases of compiler. Translator is a software which converts one form of language into the another form. Second one is compiler. Compiler converts the high-level language program into low-level language program. And interpreter do the same job, but it converts the high-level language program line by line. Next one is assembler. Assembler is a software which converts the assembly language program, that is mnemonic codes, into low-level language program. So compiler, interpreter, assembler, these three softwares converts the one form of language into the another form, that is called machine language. So these three softwares are called translator. Compiler and interpreter converts high-level language to machine language, whereas assembler converts the assembly language into machine language. Next, we should know the difference between these three softwares. Compiler converts the entire program. So intermediate code is generated during the conversion. So it recovers some memory locations. Example for compiler is C compiler, Java and any other high-level language program compilers. Whereas interpreter converts the high-level language line by line. So it is not need any intermediate code and very less memory space. Example of interpreter is basic language interpreter. And next one is the difference between compiler and assembler. Compiler converts high-level language into machine-level language, whereas assembler converts assembly-level language into machine-level language. Assembly-level language is nothing but a mnemonic codes, hence it does not require any intermediate code and it requires very less space. GNU is the examples of assembler. Next we should know the different types of compilers. First one is single pass compiler. A compiler read a program only once and convert it into the machine level language program. It is called single pass compiler. That means it reads the high level language program only once. Next one is multi-pass compiler. A compiler read the high level language program multiple number of times and converts into the low level language. Then it is called multi-pass compiler. So we should know the meaning for pass. Reading the program top to bottom is called pass. So the compiler one time read the entire program means single pass compiler. A compiler multiple times reads the high level language program and then converted into the low level language program is called multi-pass compiler. And third type is load and go compiler. Once the compilation process is completed, the machine level code should be run by the processor. So the converted machine level code should be loaded into the memory. Usually compiler convert the high level language program into machine level language program only. Then the converted machine level language code can be moved to the main memory by separate software called loader. But some compilers incorporate the loading operations also. Such a compiler is called load and go compiler. So once the compilation process is completed, then it automatically load the converted machine level language code into the main memory. And next one is a debugging compiler or optimizing compiler. A compiler having the optimization phase is called optimizing compiler. We will see this kind of compiler in depth in upcoming classes. And last one is cross compiler. Once the machine level language code can be generated by this compiler, that can be run in any kind of platform. Such a compiler is called cross compiler. Next we should know the term called language processor. Except compiler, other programs also need to run the high-level language program by the processor. Such a programs are called language processor. It is otherwise called cousins of compiler. So these kind of softwares works along with compiler to execute a complete program. Next, we should know the different phases of compiler. Phases is nothing but a different stages of compiler. Compilation process is not a single job. It comprises more stages. Each stage is called phase. The different phases are: first one is lexical analyzer, second one is syntax analyzer, third one is semantic analyzer, fourth one is intermediate code generator, fifth one is code optimizer, and sixth one is code generator. These 6 phases are depicted in this picture. Source program first subjected into the lexical analyzer. The output of lexical analyzer fed into the syntax analyzer. So our high-level language program crossing all these stages and finally produce the target program. Target program is nothing but the machine level language program. Along with these 6 phases, symbol table and error handler phases are also required. We will see one by one. First one is lexical analyzer. Lexical analyzer is the small software which converts the high-level language program into single characters. That single character is called tokens. It accepts the high-level language program and converted into single words that are called tokens. This is the example for lexical analyzer process. So the lexical analyzer accepts this high-level language program and converted into individual words. These tokens are sent as input to the next phase of the compiler. The next phase is syntax analyzer. So syntax analyzer accepts the tokens and produce the parse tree. So the output of the lexical analyzer sent to the syntax analyzer, it checks the tokens are valid or not. Once it is valid, then it creates the parse tree. This diagram illustrates the syntax analyzer operation. Syntax analyzer, otherwise called parser. This operation is called parsing operation, whereas lexical analyzer, otherwise called scanner. This operation is called scanning operation. The high-level language program can be converted into different tokens. These tokens are accepted by the syntax analyzer or parser. Once these tokens are valid, then the syntax analyzer generates the parse tree. Next phase is semantic analyzer. Semantic analyzer accepts the parse tree and checks the semantic errors. If there is no error, means it generates parse tree with some added information. So both the input and output of the semantic analyzer same. This parse tree having some added information. To understand the semantic analyzer operation by this simple example. I am going to temple. This is the correct word. But I am temple to going is the wrong one. Even though individual words are correct, but they are placed in wrong order. Hence, it does not give a proper meaning. Like in a high-level language program, void main is the correct semantic rule. We should not put main void. So such kind of errors can be checked by this semantic analyzer. Syntax analyzer checks the each word correct or not, whereas semantics analyzer checks the combination of words are written in the proper order or not. Next phase is intermediate code generation. The parse tree is sent to this phase and it converts the 3-address code. 3-address code is nothing but the code that contains maximum 3 address spaces. For example, this is the expression written by the high-level language program. This single statement can comprise more operations. It contains additional operation, it contains division operation, it contains multiplication operation, and finally these results are assigned to the another variable, that is assignment operations. But 3-address code contains each line having single operation only. So this single program can be split into different lines. In first line, addition operation only performed. In second line, division operation only performed. In third line, multiplication operation is performed. Finally, the result is stored into the target location. In each line, maximum 3 address spaces only used. So it is called 3-address code. The next phase is code optimization. So this phase accepts the 3-address code and generate the improved version of 3-address code. Reason for using code optimization is effective execution of the machine level language code. A compiler having this optimization phase is called optimization compiler. This optimization phase is an optional phase. Without code optimization phase, we can create a compiler. The last phase is called code generation phase. This is the final stage of compilation operation. It accepts the optimized three-address code and converts the machine code. So the output of this phase is directly executed by the processor. So the 6 phases are discussed. Then supporting phases are symbol table. In the high-level language program, we can use different variables and different constants. These are called identifiers. The processor should know the properties of these identifiers. So these information should be maintained in a particular data structure that is called symbol table. This example shows how these different variables are stored in the symbol table. Using this table, processor can generate the different control signals to execute the program. Finally, error handler is the phase. It accepts and processes the different errors generated by all the phases of the compiler. All the compiler phases, errors can be generated at any time. These errors can be processed by error handler. In lexical analyzer, unsupported words, that is unrecognized tokens, may be appeared that can be identified as errors. In syntax analyzer, identify the invalid syntactic structure, and whereas the semantic analyzer find the type mismatching statements. Like this, different phases are generate the different types of errors. In this class, we learned about different terms involved in the compiler and 6 phases of compiler. Thank you.